Hi, this is Sara Abrons, Executive Editor of Rave Publications, and I'm here today in New York City at the launch of UniSee from Barco, which is a brand new product. And we're here with Tom Dewaele, right? Tom is one of the designers of this new product, so we're going to talk a little bit about it and demo it and see why it's really innovative in the video wall market. How are you today, Tom?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So why don't you tell me a little bit about where you came up with the idea for this product and like where it originated from.
Okay. Well, so basically we have a long history in the projection cubes, and we know how to deal with narrow bezels. And it's actually that experience that we used in this new product, in the UniSee. Because when you have a real narrow bezel, there are some challenges you need to solve. One of those challenges is you need a very precise system in the background. On the other hand, we also know that when you install a video wall, reality is not easy. You have walls which are not straight. Drilling is not it's not a very precise science, things like that. So the challenge was for us to come with a solution that actually always guarantees a minimal gap. But also solves the problems we have when you need to service a panel, all these things. And that made us look at the product in a whole different manner. What we did is we went back to the basics. So we started basically from scratch, defining, okay, what should a narrow bezel LCD video wall look like? What are the things we need to solve? And that is actually, the result is just behind us.
Okay, and one of the things that's really interesting and unusual about this product is that for a video wall product is that it's basically everything. It's not just a display from Barco. It includes a mount, modular electronics that are actually integrated into the mount, and we're going to look at in just a second the whole thing. And tell me about how, why that design process came about when you were building it.
Okay, so basically looking at what is today in the market, you notice that your architecture of your solution has some constraints. And it was by taking that step back, we noticed that you need to look at those different components and how they are arranged, how this architecture is set up. And by redefining that architecture, you solve a lot of issues. So for instance, the weight of a panel goes down when you take out the power supply. But it also offers the opportunity to more tailor your panel. We don't offer a display as such anymore. We actually offer a display wall solution. And I think that is one of the key disruptive things about UniSee.
Okay, well, why don't we take a look at how easy it is to sort of move the panel around for servicing and show you how you would put it together if you were building this video wall. Okay?
Yeah, good. Let's do that. So basically what we do is we will address this panel, right? And what you do is we want to create a gap all around the display to ensure that you can take it easy out without damaging a panel. Just follow. So basically what we do is we drive up on a column base. And by driving up, you actually create a gap all around the point, and you have access to these points. So we will take this panel, we will service it. So what you do is you drive up your second pan. And then you state, okay, I would like to service this module. And what you do is you just program that this guy goes to service position and all the rest is freeing the room.
It's also quite easy to put back into place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and basically, one of the key things is that the system takes care of the gaps. It's no longer the guy installing the system. Like this, we can actually guarantee every time, again and again, even after servicing, that your gap is perfectly under control. And that is a key element in such a very narrow system.
So you anticipate it saving integrators a lot of time during the install process, not just the servicing process.
Yeah, exactly. Typically, how bigger the wall is, the more time you spend in adjustment time. And it's not a linear curve. If you go from a 2x2 to a 3x3, it's actually the adjustment time is more an exponential curve. And there is a lot of time spent for the integrator. Another thing we actually solve is in the meta frame. The meta frame is actually the structure which is in behind. We looked a lot in the design process there how to provide a very accurate system without the need for a narrow tolerant installation process. Because we all know drilling is not an accurate process. So for instance, this is one of the key elements which is in behind. This actually creates a perfect base for your Z. So it deals with tolerances in the wall.
So this is the first thing you install, right?
This is actually the first element you install. And what you do with it is you set out the perfect meta frame. Then you start connecting your modules, and you ensure that they are all in the exact distance from another. And this is actually taking care that you have the right accuracy all the time.
Okay.
Good. So basically, you could access the panel now. You could take it out, close it again, and then the only thing that you need to do is you drive it up. If you drive it up, you actually get it out of the service position.
And you've tested this in the lab up to 10 displays high,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. So we go up to 10 high and 30 wide. Yeah.
And another thing about this product that is unique, and you can't see it right now, so I encourage you to come check this out in person, but you can take the panel off and the electronics are actually in the mount, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So what we did is we took all the electronics out of the panel, we placed them in the mount, and one of the key elements there is we want to have our installation process as robust as possible. So the panel is the most delicate component, and that's really kept to the end. So you place your input modules in the mount, you place your SMPS, power supplies in the mount. You can even have an option to have two inside.
A redundant power supply?
Redundant power supply, exactly. And also the cabling is done really from the front. So it's a full front access solution. That is also very new.
Okay.
Good. So now we can close it and realign the gaps.
Okay.
And that's just as simple as this.
You can't see it, he's pushing the tool against.
There's a small driving unit here, just below. Yeah.
And they say gravity is pulling the displays back into
exactly.
place.
Yeah. So instead of fighting gravity, I mean, in the whole design process, that was actually our key turn element. Gravity is hard to deal with, and we were always fighting it. This system is actually using gravity, and that's why we close the gaps just for free. It's a force which is always there, and it's a constant force.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate this demonstration. Barco tells us this will be available by the end of the year for projects that will be spec'd or installed next year. And it'll be available through their distribution partners, Starin and Almo, to start with. So I really encourage you, if you haven't seen, or if you can come by the place and see this in person, really encourage it. And it'll be obviously at trade shows upcoming in the year, and you should really check it out. But thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.